Welcome everyone to Something to Talk About from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center. My name is Katie Auger, Community Resource Navigator. Our talk today is sponsored by Fieldstone Communities, Bainbridge Island. Fieldstone offers innovative and compassionate care. They are now accepting residents. They also offer day stay and respite programs as well. Call 360-689-4314 to schedule a tour of Fieldstone's beautifully appointed apartments on Rolling Bay. I'd also like to acknowledge that the Senior Community Center is on the ancestral homeland of the Coast Salish people, specifically the Suquamish tribe, the people of the clear salt water. We honor them and we are grateful for their hospitality. Well, thank you again, everyone joining us today and those who are watching. I am very happy to have with us Misty Eberspecher from the Independent Living Program at Housing Resources Bainbridge. Misty is here to talk to us today about staying on your feet, staying safe in your home, and how we can prevent falls, which is a very important thing. So welcome, Misty, sorry, we're so glad to have you here. I know who you are.
Thank you, Katie.
We appreciate it. And I know you've got a presentation all set for us. So we're excited to see it. Yeah, and I will turn the mic over to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to go ahead and set this up here. So I'm Misty Eberspecher with Housing Resources Bainbridge, and I run the Independent Living Program here. And I am presenting today about staying on your feet and ways that we can all stay safe in our home and in the community as well, but mostly in our homes. Feel free to jump in if you have any questions. So glad that you all could join us today, and just curious, and feel free to chat or raise your hand. Who can tell me one fall prevention step that you can take in your own home? Looks like there's a couple things in the chat. Let's see what we have. Katie,
yeah,
do you want to?
Had Nancy chime in with handrails at home?
Oh, yes, exactly. Handrails are a great option, especially entry into your home. If you have the stair up, multi-level home, really anywhere that it could be helpful. I really like to err on the side of caution, better safe than sorry. So even, just adding one grab bar in your home. Yeah, for sure, handrails. Anyone else have any thoughts on fall prevention?
Yeah, we had two more contributions, Nancy and Larry. Throw rugs, loose rugs on the ground.
Yes, definitely. We always want to make sure that those throw rugs are taped around the edges, or we just completely remove them. Just better safe than sorry again. But there is always that double-sided tape that you can put on the very edge of the rugs to help them keep you safe in your home.
Yeah, and that's great, I think, for folks to be aware of, because I know giving up those beautiful rugs that many people have in their home is really hard.
It can be very hard, yes.
So it sounds like there are potentially some ways to make those safe. And then in other cases, it's, I think very much worth it to let them go in the name of safety. Also, someone wrote in about wearing slippers, to not wear slippers around the home.
Right. Yeah, being very careful to make sure that whatever you do have on your feet, there's like that slip-proof area or designation on the bottom. Sometimes slippers have them and sometimes they don't. So just being very careful. And sometimes even if they do have them, if the slipper is too big and baggy, that can cause issues. So definitely want to be very, very cautious of that.
And we also had a question come in. So how do we keep ourselves from tripping over pets? Because I know that can certainly be an issue.
Right. That is very tricky. It can be very tricky depending on the animal. So just kind of trying to do your best with being mindful of where the animal is in the home at all times. And if they're, if if there's like an unsure animal. I know my little guy, he just runs all over the place. So it can be definitely challenging. And he especially loves to run in between my legs as I'm going up and down the stairs. So I definitely have to use those handrails on my stairs and make sure that I don't have a lot of things in my hands. So that way, if I do start to trip, that I have something I can grab onto and both my hands are free. So that's one thing that I do in my own home. And I encourage my clients and residents on the island and around the area that definitely just, make sure you at least have one hand free so that if you do, start to trip, that you have something you can grab onto, a free hand. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, one of the things that I actually learned from the independent living program, and I've now utilized in my own home, is lighting, especially like at nighttime. So like the motion sensor lighting. And I was thinking about that as far as pets go too, because either if pets are, wandering around at night, or else you're walking, and if they happen to have like fallen asleep in your pathway, I know that night lighting can be really, really helpful.
Yeah, then in today's market, there's so many types of the sensor lighting that you can get. I know I found some that are pretty, about like this big, battery operated, and I have those set up on my stairs. And so when I take like every other step, they light up. And so I have a lit area that, I don't have to turn on the huge light in the space, but I have each step is lit up as I walk up and down, because it's more often than not dark in that area. And so anywhere that you can add those motion sensor lights is a good thing. Yeah, and especially very helpful with animals as well. Yeah, thank you. All right, well, good job, everyone. And thank you all for being so helpful today and into the talk. I'll go ahead and get started with the presentation. And some of the items, you may or may not already be aware of, but definitely let's have a conversation, and any concerns or questions you have, definitely let me know. All right, let's see here. So our first one, why does fall prevention matter? Well, fall prevention matters because everybody has the potential to fall. So we want to make sure that we're being careful. According to Washington State DOH in 2020, and that's the Department of Health, 31% of adults over 65 experienced a fall. So that's a significant amount. Also in between 2021 and 2022, on average, there were about 7,800 emergency fall related calls each month for adults 65 and older. And in 2020, fall related injuries accounted for 57% of all injury related deaths in adults aged 65 years and older. So we think about that, and we think about the fact that there's roughly 26% of adults over the age of 65 or 65 and older on Bainbridge Island alone as of just last year. So that's quite a chunk of folks that we can, monitor, and we can add those grab bars and see what steps we can take. And I'm here to help you guys do that. And of course, there's always the cost for a fall injury, even if it's not a huge, it's not life changing. There's still going to be a cost involved if you fall, because maybe then you have to start physical therapy or other long-term things, and so each one of those, of course, is going to add up. So we just want to try and avoid that the best that we can. Okay, so we already talked about a lot of ways in our home that could cause a fall. But another thing too is problems with your medication, taking your medications without food when you're supposed to take them with food. So you're taking them at the wrong time, can cause you to be lightheaded, which then can turn into a potential fall hazard. Maybe you're standing up too fast and you don't realize it because you haven't eaten, but you already took your meds that morning. So you're going to be a little off, let's say. So problems with physical changes. You know, you just got out of the hospital and you're coming home to rehab, and you might think that you're fine and indestructible, and but now you have a cast. So, you know, those types of things, that's a new thing for you. So those can definitely add reasons why a fall could be coming up. Vision changes, making sure that we have our eyes checked often, and any balance change, you know, aside from the medications. Maybe you're just having an off day, maybe you're really tired. And so just all these things are things that we can all think about as we age. And then, of course, we already talked a lot about things in your home that can cause you to trip. The edges of the rug, which we talked about, and we're going to talk more about, but the lighting, as well as the clutter, you know, maybe too much furniture, maybe there's boxes on the floor around every corner. So things that, especially in those, you know, if you don't have the proper lighting, then, and you forget that there's a box on the floor as you're coming around the corner, that can lead to a fall. So we want to do our best to try and remove those obstacles from our space so that we can have a safer zone as we traverse through the home. All right, let's see here. All right, so we're going to get into 10 common, let's see here, 10 common myths about falls. So many people do think that falls are a normal part of aging, but of course they are not. Most falls can be prevented, and you do have the power to reduce your risk. Exercising, managing your medications, having your vision checked, and making your living environment safer are all steps that you can take to prevent a fall. And to promote greater awareness and understanding, we're going to talk about 10 common myths and the reality about older adult falls. All right, so the first one is that we might think that falling only happens to other people and it's not going to happen to us. And the reality is many people do think that it won't happen to them, but the truth is 1 in 4 adults on average fall every year in the United States. So even though we might have it in our mind that it's never going to happen to us, it can, no matter if we're, you know, 64, 65, 66, or 90, or even under, you know, 40s. I myself have fallen. I haven't quite hit 50 yet, but I did have a fall last year. Luckily, I was able to catch myself with my railing on my stairs. But it can be very scary because once you do have, you know, one fall, then your mind kind of gets nervous about falling again. So we're also going to talk about that. Okay, so the second myth is falling is something that is normal. And we all know that the reality is that it's not a normal part of aging. Strength and balance exercises, managing your medications, having your vision checked, and making your living environment safer are all steps that we can take to prevent falls. Give me just 1 second here. There we go. So myth number 3 is if I limit my activity, I won't fall. Again, some people believe that the best way to prevent falls is to stay at home and limit activity. Not true. Performing physical activities such as Tai Chi, yoga, walking, and swimming will actually help you stay independent. As you strengthen and as your strength and range of motion benefit from from remaining active, social activities are very good for your overall health. So even if it's just a short walk a day, or even if it's just you know, Tai Chi once a week or once a month, any little bit that you can do, and there's so many safe activities that you can do. You can do things from sitting in a chair. You can do things with a table right in front of you. And so you're just doing leg lifts maybe. So definitely reach out if you have, any concerns with that. And we all need to really focus on staying active. And again, even if the myth is as long as I stay home, I can avoid falling. When the reality is over half of all falls do take place at home. So we want to make sure that we are inspecting our homes for those fall risks. Fixing simple but serious hazards. We talked about clutter, the throw rugs, the poor lighting, making simple home modifications such as adding those grab bars, maybe in the bathroom, or adding the second handrail on the stairs. Because sometimes on the stairs, one handrail is not enough. And then adding non-slip adhesive tape, or like painting the edges of the outdoor steps so that they're more visible for you, or adding that tape so that your feet will catch on the step. And so that would help prevent a slip and a fall. One myth number 5 is muscle strength and flexibility can't be regained. The reality is, while we do lose muscle as we age, exercise can partially restore strength and flexibility. So it's never too late to start an exercise program. Even if you've been a couch potato your whole life, becoming active now will benefit you in many ways, including protection from falls. Myth number 6, taking medication doesn't increase my risk of falling. And we touched on this a little bit, but taking any medication, any at all, may increase your risk of falling. Medications always affect people in many different ways and can sometimes make you dizzy or sleepy. So be careful when you're starting a new medication to make sure you're talking to your healthcare provider about any side effects and any interactions with other medications that you might be taking. Because sometimes you're not going to be aware of it, and a week later after you start taking it, you start to feel dizzy or you feel a little off and you're not sure why. So definitely make sure that you're talking to your care provider about those interactions with other medications and just the changes that you might go through. Let's see, myth number 7, I don't need to get my vision checked every year. The reality is, vision is definitely another key factor for falls. Aging is associated with some forms of vision loss that can increase the risk of falling and injury. People with vision problems are more than twice as likely to fall as those without any visual impairment. So you want to make sure that you're having your eyes checked at least once a year and updating your eyeglasses as needed. And for those with low vision, there are a lot of programs and assistive devices that can help you. In fact, our library has a lot of information on that. But also you can ask your optometrist for referrals for different things that might be useful for you. Myth number 8, using a walker or a cane will make me more dependent on that item. When the reality is, walking aids are very important in helping us maintain or improve our mobility. However, you always want to make sure that you're using these devices safely. You can always take the walker if you have a physical therapist, take the walker with you to your PT appointment to make sure that you're using it correctly, or give me a call. I'm happy to come out and walk through that with you and help in any way that I can. Myth number 9, I don't need to talk to my family members or my healthcare provider if I'm concerned about my risk of falling. I don't want to alarm them, and I want to keep my independence. The reality is, fall prevention is a team effort. So you want to make sure that you're bringing it up with your doctor and your family and anyone else who's in a position to help. They do want to help you maintain your mobility and reduce your risk of falling. And always try to remember that a fall can cost you a lot more than you want, both physically and financially. So definitely reach out to those that are in a position to assist you in any way. And what about if we have a family member? Myth number 10 is I don't need to talk to my parent or spouse or other older adult if I'm concerned about their risk of falling, because you think that the myth is that if it's going to hurt their feelings, and it's really none of my business. The reality is you want to let them know your concerns, and you want to offer your support to help them maintain the highest degree of independence possible. There are many things that you can do to assist, including helping them remove the hazards in their home or your own home if it's your spouse or you're living with your mother, or depending on the situation, of course, finding a fall prevention program in the community, or helping them to set up a vision exam if that's what's needed, or an appointment with their doctor. So there are different ways that you can help that family member to help keep them safe. All right, so we're at a good stopping point here. Are there any questions anyone has or comments?
We'll give folks a moment if they want to unmute themselves to chime in with their question, or go ahead and use the chat box. And I know Nancy has contributed a few things, so I just want to acknowledge that. She had stated that she had a medication change recently that had caused some dizziness, and that there was really a lack of instructions or information on there. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Nancy. That's really great to know. Because yeah, and I, I know that, maybe a medication that you've been on before in the past, but perhaps you've added another medication or something has changed. So it's really, I think any medication change, it's really great to discuss that with your healthcare provider in case there are any changes. So thank you, Nancy, for contributing that. And as Misty said, it's a really important thing to be aware of. Just looking in here, there's a question about how Medicare does not cover vision checks, and so I know that can be a barrier for some folks. And I know there was a comment about Medicaid and Medicare coverage as a potential option. So yeah, I mean, certainly that is a big barrier for some folks because of cost.
Right.
And I know that's kind of a little bit of a different topic, but something that, yeah, if you haven't been screened for Medicaid or other programs, it might be good to check with for eligibility on that. And so contacting a place like Helpline House can also, help to make sure that you're getting qualified, or you're signed up for a plan that you may qualify for, that has additional coverage.
Right. Yeah.
Any other question, or Misty, if you had any?
No, I was just going to say, correct. Yeah, everything Katie said. Any help that you can get to, try to ensure that those things are getting done. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm happy to, walk through stuff with you. Any help that I can provide, I'm more than happy. All I need you to do is call me.
Yeah, and I do really want to emphasize, I know Misty is wonderful at being able to answer questions. So yeah, if you do have any personal questions, please reach out to her. Let's see here. Okay, so I think we have a few more questions kind of in the medical realm. So I think we're maybe good to move on to the next part, and we can also if people want to stay on after the presentation too, and we can also talk through a few ideas as well.
Okay, perfect. That's great. Thank you, Katie. All right, so now we're going to move into ways that we can actually take control and 6 steps to help prevent those falls, right? I know it may seem like we're repeating things, but we kind of want to, this is a big deal. And we want to make sure that we're all trying to take the steps that we can to help prevent fall. So we want to look into finding a good balance and exercise program. Many of you may be aware, may not be aware that even locally here, we have a lot of options at our senior center. So you want to try and look to build balance, strength, and flexibility. So you can also contact the local area on aging for referrals, but we're very lucky here on the island that the Senior Center does provide classes, as one of them is Tai Chi, there's yoga, and there's also the SAIL class, which is Stay Active and Independent for Life. And then, even if you don't want to go to the class forever or for a long period of time, you can get those ideas and then you can practice those on your home in a safe space. Like I was saying earlier, doing things from sitting down in a chair, if that's what needs to happen. You can still do leg lifts that way, but you're seated, and so you feel safe. You don't have to do them to where you're standing on your feet. So there's lots of modifications that can be made to help you find a good balance, an exercise program to help you stay safe. All right. Again, we want to make sure that we're talking to our healthcare provider. So one thing that you can do is ask for a fall screening if you haven't done one already, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But you do want to make sure that you're doing as much as you can to be your own advocate for your health. And if you're not able to for some reason, then you're calling on a family member or a close friend to help you. Because technically, if you're in that age range, your doctor should be doing a fall risk assessment for you, most often every year at least. And then if there's any sort of significant health change, it can be done again. So never hesitate to ask for that. And then we've been talking a lot about medications. So making sure that your side effects aren't increasing your risk of falling. So making sure that, again, if you're not able to determine what medications, might be affecting, get somebody to help you. Even talk to your pharmacist, doctor, close family friend, a relative, anyone that can help you track your symptoms, see what's going on that can, potentially have an effect on the fall increase risk. So we want to avoid that at all costs. All right, let's see here. Go on. I have to find my mouse here. It keeps disappearing on me. There we go. And then we were talking about vision, making sure you're getting that done at least annually, updating your eyeglasses. And you may even talk to your primary care or your internist, your normal doctor, about checking your eyes. If you're not wearing glasses already, then they should be able to at least look into your eyes and do a basic test for you, just to see if, maybe you do actually need to see an optometrist. And then again, of course, keeping your home safe, which is my main focus, but removing those trip hazards, increasing the lighting, making your stairs safe, getting those grab bars in. And again, you can ask me, call me for any assistance in this department. And then I can't say this enough, but enlisting your family members and close friends. If you don't have any family in the area, a close friend, or again, you can reach out to even IVC, you can reach out to me, and we can, talk these things through with you, because falls are just not a seniors issue. We want to include everybody that's in our life if we have any thoughts of, any type of fall risk. So we want to make sure that we're staying safe. And again, I know we've talked about this already, but the lighting is huge. I can help you with recommendations on those sensor lights. Also, one thing for the showers is an adjustable shower head. We have one that I like to put in that's been successful. And so you have a shower head at the top, and then you also have a handheld one. So you can reach and use the handheld one and then you hang it back up when you're done. So we could talk more about that if you think that's something that you might need. A mat for the bathtub is a good option as well. I have a really good one here that I like to use, and it adheres to the bottom of the shower or the tub very well, and then helps with the slip proof. There's also the tape that you can put in the bottom of your shower or tub, and that will help, grab like grippy tape. And then, of course, the throw rugs, the double-sided tape, or just getting rid of them altogether. I did hear one person say that they decided to hang up the rug on the wall because they really didn't want to get rid of it. So they chose to hang it up. And then one other thing that's good to do and try to make sure that you're doing is in your kitchen area, making sure that anything that you use on a regular basis is about waist height, so that we're not reaching super high for those plates or the glasses or that favorite bowl that we want to use. I'm happy to help with that as well. And then our cords, sometimes our cords can be all over the place. So making sure that those are secure and not out in the middle of the floor, causing a trip hazard as well. One piece of information that I like to hand out when I talk with people is the annual AARP Home Fit Guide. This is just one page from it, but this page talks about going into your home. Is there at least a one step-free entrance into your home? What does the entrance to your home look like? In the bedroom, is there enough lighting? Are the doorways at least 36 inches wide if you're going to be using a walker or a wheelchair? Do you have a kitchen that has a work surface that you can use while seated? So enough space in your dining room table or a counter where you can pull up a chair. Fire extinguisher, you always want to make sure that you have one of those handy. In kitchen cabinets, again, we want to make sure that the items that you're using more frequently are easy to reach. And you're not doing a lot of bending over or reaching up way high. Levers on our faucets and our doors throughout our home can be a lot easier on our hands than the typical knobs. So that's something that I can also assist with. And then if you are trying to use a step stool, does it have a non-slip surface so that, if some water spills or if your shoe is a little slippery or your foot, you're not sliding off that step stool. We want to make sure we're avoiding that. And again, back to the lighting, your stairs are lit, your hallways are lit. Any exterior walkways, if you're going to be coming home, even in the middle of the day here, sometimes it can be dark. So you never know. And any lighting that we can add to the space, whether it be little solar lights or, motion sensored lights, are always a good thing. And again, fall prevention is a team effort. So please try to remember that those that care about you and love you want to help. So please reach out. And you might tell yourself that you're healthy and you're active and wonder, are you really at risk for a fall? Well, even healthy and active people can fall, and the risk of serious injury from a fall does increase as we age. Several risk factors such as osteoporosis, mild arthritis, those aren't related to how healthy you look or feel. So you always want to make sure that, if you have any concerns at all, you're talking to your doctor and starting that process. Okay, and so this page is just about a fall prevention screening. So some of you may have already done this with your doctor, but these are the types of things that you're going to walk through when you do that fall prevention screening. It's going to ask you if you've fallen in the past year. Have you ever been advised to use a cane or a walker to get around safely? Whether or not you feel unsteady when you're walking. Whether or not you're walking around your home hanging onto furniture as you're walking. It's going to ask if you're worried about falling, if you need to push up with your hands to stand up from a chair or from the toilet. That can be a big thing too. If your toilet seat or your toilet itself is too low, that can cause a lot of strain on your body. So there's always, you know, modifications that can be done to help you with that. If you ever feel like lost any feeling in your feet, and then again, back to the medication, maybe it's making you feel lightheaded and you're not sure why. So we want to get to the bottom of those things. And in regards to the fall prevention screening, evidence from the CDC does show that answering these questions can help you and your provider better understand your risk for a fall. So answering these questions and sharing the report with your provider gives them additional information that can help you prevent a fall in the future, which of course is what we want to do. Okay, and so more about independent living, my program, ways that I can help you. I can help you plan for fall prevention in your home. I project manage home safety modifications. I'll come out to your home, do an assessment, and we go from there. I also can provide referrals to other services and assist with obtaining equipment for health and safety, like walkers, shower chairs, things like that, and assist with mobility and safety planning. So don't hesitate to give me a call if you have any questions. All right, so here's my information, my direct information. If you guys do want to reach out, I would love to hear from you, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Misty.
Of course.
We did have a few additional comments and questions come in. So first from Larry and Marianne asking, do you know anyone with experience with a Sherman Oaks upright walker? My OT sister raves about it for those restricting activities for fear of falls. She works at the VA hospital, so clearly has some experience with these. Is that one that you've come across, Misty? Have you heard anything about that?
It's not, but definitely I would love to look that up actually and see what I can find out. Can you say that again, Katie?
Yeah, it's the Sherman Oaks upright walker. Yeah, great question. I also have not heard of that one, but I do know that they've obviously come a long way as far as walkers are concerned, and a lot of different pieces of medical equipment. There've been some great upgrades. I do just want to quickly note too that for those who aren't aware, there's KC Help, which is the Knights of Columbus, which is an organization that provides medical equipment for loan. And so they do have a site on the island. So if folks are interested in getting access to walkers or other, durable medical equipment, that is a resource. And I will put the phone number in the notes. But if you're interested in getting any equipment, you can contact the center or contact KC Help to get that as well. Okay, and then let's see here. Nancy also added that they've been switching to LED lighting throughout their house to get brighter lighting. So again, coming back to the importance of lighting. So yeah, so whether that in your home that either looks like adding more lamps or those motion sensor lightings, again, there's some great options out there. So good suggestion there. And then Nancy also mentioned too that she babysits for a 1.5-year-old grandson. And it sounds like has been getting some good exercise by cleaning all the toys and putting those things away. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the part about having little ones in the home, because I know oftentimes there can be toys that unexpected, like not where you'd expect to find something in your pathway. So yeah, just another, for folks who do have little kids coming over to visit, that's another thing to just really be aware of is, any little things that might get moved around in your pathway. I just want to again say thank you so much, Misty. I really, really appreciate the work that you do. This is so informative, and I feel like the stats are really fascinating and interesting, and yeah, something that for all of us just to be aware of. Okay, and then one question coming in, there was mention of financial aid for getting bathroom renovations to prevent falls. Can you talk just a little bit about that,
Yeah.
Misty?
Yeah, for sure. So my program here at Independent Living can assist. I have the funding for low income, 80% area median income. So roughly for one person household, that works out to about 57, so under about 57,650 a year. And any out-of-pocket medical we can discuss. Give me a call if you have any questions on that, and we can, speak individually about the financial side of it. But for shower modifications, I actually also just received over 100 grab bars to install in bathrooms and homes on the island for folks 60 and up. So if you need a grab bar, I can have those installed for you. And all you need to do is give me a call, and we'll meet and kind of go from there. So yeah, any questions that you have about any type of assistance, I'm willing to talk to you and see what we can come up with. So